Hello people, I've just nipped out. I've been doing a bit of head work in the office. Just feeling myself slightly become overloaded mentally, so I thought get out, get into some green nature and make a little video. And the video that I want to share with you today is about what the indigenous Native Americans call the Hekoya. The Hekoya is a particular kind of empath. So when we think about empathy, it's the ability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and to literally feel and think what is going through their mind in a loving way, so that you can share their burden, share their load, and enable that person to heal themselves based upon that, that loving relationship or that genuine compassion that you've got for you. And empathy and compassion are the main qualities that this world needs right now, because there's so much going on, there's so much being lifted off, and we're in the middle of an apocalypse. Apocalypse literally means a lifting of the veil. So I'm just going to show you a little waterfall and show you kind of, if you think about divine source, about what it can unearth sometimes, which might be unpleasant. So you can see the water running through. I've not been here for a good 6 months, and you can see the destruction the water has brought about via its just natural rhythm. But anyway, so a person who would be like an Hekoya is what would be called a sacred fool or a sacred clown. So in any old, if you check out some of these old historical programs about the monarchy, the king had one person that had almost more power or more credit than him, and it was always the court jester, the court fool. Because in times of crisis, the king would lock himself away and would listen and take counsel to the fool. Because in any tarot deck or in any game, the fool is zero. It's everything and nothing. And the fool literally has no fears whatsoever about expressing himself, and can often trigger emotions in other people. Yeah, acted almost like a mirror. So I know for a fact that I bring out certain emotions in people with some of the way I am naturally. And sometimes you can be attacked for that, because you then become the projector screen for their fears. So people have got all these fears, they don't even know they've got them, and they're acting in a certain way, in a dissociative way. And they are literally waiting for somebody to come along and trigger them. Now, a lot of people who trigger them won't even have any idea about any form of healing or any form of integration that takes place. But somebody who is a super intuitive can understand and get a feel for what that person's going through at that moment in time, and actually reflect back to them exactly what they need to hear and provide the solutions and answers for them, but in a way that it brings about a big crisis or anger or frustration or even resentment in order to withdraw the poison. That is a shaman. So so Hekoyas or these fools, they literally cultivate transpersonal relationships. What I mean by that is that a lot of people are bound by family or social groups they've had for a long time, and they just play the role going all the way through their life without upsetting the apple cart or without actually putting themselves first, because of fear of rejection. The Hekoya or clown loves them people and associates with them people, but isn't afraid to say fuck off, you're wrong, or act a certain way purely intuitively, knowing that it's going to cause problems, because that unrest and that form of that conflict is needed to take that person or that group to the next level. Now, some of those people won't be able to come with you, so you're going to lose friends and family along the way. You're going to lose friends and family along the way as an empath, as a warrior empath, because they literally cannot be in your presence for periods of time because of the vibration and what you are representing in terms of freedom. Because by them holding on to their fears and their personality ego, it causes them great distress, a lot of distress. And I've seen this. I mean, I've upset a lot of people over the years, and I'll continue probably to upset more. But it's not that I want to upset them for the buzz. There was an old part of me, a narcissistic part of me, that used to do it for a buzz, but I've got to a certain level of awareness now that it's not about narcissism anymore. It's about bringing as many people with me as possible. and that our relationship should be guided by basically like a mythos or some sort of overriding universal oneness, instead of being held in sentimental relationships, being part of clubs and societies and all the bullshit that goes with that. The more you align yourself with that group think, the more difficult it is to be yourself. It's a fine line to walk. So if you were thinking about potentially, if you've got things that you want to say and you want to get out there, you've got a bit of thinking to do about what the potential consequences are. But generally, I just act naturally and act because I'm guided, so it's a very, very difficult, tough path, and it can lead to isolation. But ultimately, if you're a shaman, and if you're an urban shaman like me, because I'm living obviously in North Manchester, then someone like me requires a lot of isolation, and I'm extremely sensitive. I take on the burdens and feelings of other people. When I'm with close members who have been part of my group for a long time, my family, sometimes it can be quite excruciating for me, because people's thoughts, because of I'm who I am, and my lifestyle is the antithesis of their lifestyle, yeah, their thoughts about you are very penetrating, and it's almost like a form of psychic vampirism in a way. But a loving empath, a warrior empath, would take that on anyway, with the thought of healing themselves afterwards, or even having energy techniques to bounce that away. So empathy is truly, and compassion is truly king, and is very much misunderstood, because it's taken as a quality which is weak by the Babylon mindset. But in fact, there ain't no bigger warrior going, mate, than a proper hardcore empath like myself, and somebody who's not scared to say it as it is and be completely true to thine own self. That is where the real power is at, and everyone's got something about them that they can bring to the table to take part in this change that we're seeing now. So it's a mixture of warrior and priest. Yeah, it's a warrior priest kind of a polarity, really. But I hope that was useful. You can check out, I'll put an article below that explains it in a way which, like they've written it and took time. I'm just flying it out there, you know what I mean? But empathy just isn't about being soft and lovely. It's about being out there and being that person that everybody is looking at, be it, because I get messages saying thanks, nice one, mate, and I'm also getting trolls at the moment. I'm getting quite a few trolls, even if I block them off Facebook. They're trying to contact me through WhatsApp and stuff like that, because the thought of me blocking them out, they can't stand it. They still want to get their thoughts through to me. But that is the role of the Hekoya. So anyway, guys, I love you loads. See you later.